Hello and welcome to this week's midweek stream, I should say. We'll be watching the debate later today. I'm flying solo this evening. But before we get started, in preparation for next week's release, I will be playing the Undead Nightmare DLC, if I can find my controller. Don't have any topics planned, but please give me some in the chat. I'd love to talk some politics before we get to the politics. The debate should start at 8 Central, so that should be here in the next 45 minutes. I'm not sure where that's going to be, but we'll switch over as soon as I find it. Hopefully they start streaming early so I have some prep time. But let's play a little game, shall we? And of course my capture card is being finicky, so give me one moment. While that reloads, there has been quite a bit of things going on today. Well, I should say this week, but again, I wish I had a thing planned for today, but let's see what we got here. I haven't played this since it came out. This will be fun. Oh, felt that one coming. Whoa. Okay. I don't feel like it started me off in a new game here. Yeah, I'm willing to bet it's loading that 2013 file. So you can see I haven't played the game in a long time. Yeah, it looks like I've got another slot, so let's do this. This will make more sense, right? Hopefully you'll let me know in chat if you're not able to hear the game or any such thing.
Loved ones, while trying to rebuild his ranch and win back the trust of his family. Marston awaits whatever life will throw at him. As he drives home one evening from an errand, he ponders whether a man can ever escape his past. He is a man who is ready for anything. Almost anything.
Yo. Looks like, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined in chat by one of our regular hosts. Hello, Cereal Bowl. How's the sound? Everything all right?
Oh, damn.
Mother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I meant to say, damn this awful son I've raised with his highfalutin ways, and his shame that his mother swears like a sailor and sews like a blind man. Is that better? Your lordship.
Jesus.
Mother dearest.
Good. I'm so glad, my darling. When you finished your university education and are far too good to even acknowledge my existence when we pass on the street, and you gently kick me aside and begging old crow out of the way with your highly polished boot. Well, think of me kindly, at least, will you, my son?
I'll try to, Mother. I'll think, that woman I just kicked, that used to be my dear old potty-mouth mom. Maybe I should bother to kick her
Yes,
harder.
this is the 10 out of 10 rated DLC for the original Red Dead Redemption, Undead Nightmare.
Now, Father's here.
It is
Maybe
chock
we can
full
beat
of
some sense
content.
into it.
Something funny's going on out there. Damn dogs going crazy, and wolves howling, and birds flying.
Well, it's just the storm, John.
Maybe. Uncle make it back yet?
I tell you what.
I thought he was with you, off drinking in the fields. I mean, working, as you call it now.
He went into town a few hours ago.
I feel like it kind of piggybacked off the hype train of the zombie, like, zombie movement, but anyways. Well, we're about to be eating brains on top of your ramens. Well, hurry up so I can put you on camera.
I know. Just a funny feeling I got.
You called psychic ball?
You can help me
Either that or
destroy Cruz.
something funny. Knowing your mother's cooking.
Yeah, I thought it got old a few years ago, the zombie movement,
Well,
but
talking about food, who's ready for some poisoning?
apparently it just kept on a chugging. But it felt like a while ago that it was really like you couldn't go very far without seeing the zombie stuff. What's up, Vegeta?
Tell me about it.
It's kind of dumb.
That should suit me just fine.
If I remember correctly, the moral of this story is listen to the kid.
It's all about, in ancient times, how Aztec warriors
What,
worshiped the
Vegeta?
sun, but during full moons, some of them worship the moon instead, and upset the equilibrium of things. So anyway, what it involves is, there's this one guy...
And we trail off here. I'm surprised we don't get like the Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah.
That leaves him all alone. So anyways, since there ain't no cure, the brave man has to kill everybody.
Kill him.
Absolutely disgusting and completely unbelievable. It's getting late.
I'd join you on your stream if the debate wasn't starting here in the next, looks like 38 minutes.
Jack, get yourself to bed, boy. Try to get some sleep.
Ain't you worried about Uncle?
Sure, but he'll have to wait till morning just like any other man would in his shoes. Good night, son. Don't stay up reading too late.
I tell you what. Boy, I tell you what. Oh, that's not nice.
You okay, old man? You don't look so good. What is going on? What the hell is wrong with you? Crazy old bastard!
Jesus. It always starts with them questioning what's going on as they're trying to eat them. Like, I feel like at this point we're ready as an audience to go, okay, instant recognition. I get that he's not, that this is a period piece, but at some point I want some protagonist to be like, that's fucked up, bang, instead of going, well, what do I do about this? Well,
Uncle! You
oh
dumb
well,
son of a bitch, stop!
she's done for. And there's your motive. To the dome!
Nobody puts their hands on my wife! I can't believe I had to kill that poor bastard. Well... You okay, darling? You okay? Abigail. Abigail.
I don't feel so great.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you would feel too great.
Good Lord, what's happened? Mama?
Careful, boy.
Mama?
Oh yeah, this is kind of fucked up. There it is.
Stay right there, the pair of you. Don't make me no widower now.
I'm not liking where this is going. At least the lasso mechanic in this game is good, if I remember correctly.
Well, stay there while I deal with your half-witted son.
Well, come here, boy.
If you act like a child, I'll treat you like one.
Yeah, right. Because now we look for a cure. I always like they use the same mechanic for like the carrying in this game as they do, or in the DLC as they do in the main game. And every time you have to carry a zombie, I'm just like, how is that like the best way to carry a zombie? Put the mouth as, I don't know, it just feels really like there's a proximity problem. All I'm saying. So he's smart enough to recognize that they need meat.
Crazy bastards or what Uncle's done to you, but I'm going to get help. Stay calm. As calm as you can, seeing as both of you seem to have gotten a little excited. Probably just a fever.
Yeah, there's your denial right there.
Be kind to your mother. Abigail, teach the boy right from wrong. Both of you. Stop biting chunks out of people. Be back as soon as I can. Guess I best go find me a doctor in town.
I get the feeling that he left that room with a sense of humor that is totally John Marston, but not appropriate. You serious, horse? Come on. Oh no. Wait a second. There we go. We're not playing this game. We're playing this game. Over the, okay, through the fence works too. I'm fine with through the fence. Whatever gets me past it. Oh, I'm so excited to see the attention to detail laid upon the second rendition of Red Dead Redemption. This is going to be amazing. Like, I was really impressed. They really do a good job at like keeping the entities separate for the riders and the horses, but that was back in 2011, so I will be excited for that. Let's see if I can actually, I'm experiencing, I don't know if this is going to help the stream at all, but I'm having a hard time here. Kill effect? Okay, that sounds fun. We're gonna keep that. Oh, you should see some of the attention to detail that Skyrim needs to learn from, or I'm sorry, Bethesda needs to learn from Rockstar. Like, everybody's getting on to like the jiggle physics that they're using for the horse testicles, and I mean that just completely seriously. But imagine that they're going to that level of detail. I get it for the humor, and that's totally Rockstar, but they are absolutely going to be putting that level of detail into little things that you're not going to notice, which is going to be the point.
Let's go.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. And I'm hoping to play it next week late on our Thursday stream. Yeah, I will say the natural boundaries within Red Dead Redemption and I'm assuming the new one are going to be much better than invisible walls.
What happened here?
I think the realism too is going to be like really standout-ish. Oh, I don't have my weapons from the main game. That makes sense. Oh, maybe I wasn't able to get all my guns out of there right away. That makes sense canon-wise, but I want my golden gun. Where's my golden gun?
Mr. Marston, sir! Marston! It's me!
Oh, look, the doctor I was looking for.
What are you doing here? I thought you went back to Yale.
Well, I did.
Oh, no, I guess not. He's a professor. I'm sorry.
Research. And now all hell is quite literally broken loose.
What is going on?
Well, sir, I am a man of science, a man of great learning, a thinker, a wise man, and I'll be honest with you, sir. I haven't...
Away with you, Vegeta. Good luck.
Well, ain't that damn.
Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Well, I suggest we try to find other survivors, band together, and find a cure. Or fight to the death trying.
Well, that sounds great and all, but I'm just peachy. But I'm not sure that I'm not cut out for such shenanigans. I was thinking more
Shenanigans.
finding a horse and riding back to the civilized north at the speed of knots before writing a paper on the events from the comfort of my study. I'm a scientist after all, right? I mean, I can't do much science if I'm some bloodshot dervish's lunch, can I? Much as I would like.
Your sense of duty is very impressive, Professor. I'm gonna search the back street for survivors.
No, perhaps staying with you would be safer. Could you just wait a sec here, would you please? I'm going to wander down
the
that
thing.
lonely, deserted street and get my bag.
Wait, you should stay with me, Professor. You haven't got a gun.
Oh, no, it's okay. There's no need to worry.
Oh, yeah. No need to worry.
I left my stuff with Mr. Nastas. You remember him. Indian fellow, dumb as bricks, but a good sort.
Okay. Well, meet me in a couple minutes.
Affirmative. A couple of minutes.
Yeah. There's Nastas, and there. Oh. Oh dear. Well, Nastas, that's just not nice. And Dalton, you need to like hurry the hell up. Like, unengineer your engineering project. Oh no. See, every character comes back for a second killing. Goodbye. Oh, did I not hit? Oh, I didn't headshot him enough. Okay, that's not nice. That is not nice. Goodbye.
You best be dead, Miss.
Oh, did I hear another one? Oh, Jesus. Don't slap me. Ah! Oh God, there are many. They are legion. Oh Jesus. Okay, I have a problem. Oh, and their heads are very elusive. Come, magical appearing horse.
Come on.
Ooh, I'm actually getting a little tense. The sense of danger is pretty good right now. Oh my God. Okay, the sense of danger is pretty good. Get out of here. I do feel a little bit safer atop my horse. Let's investigate the town.
Anyone here?
I agree. I would GTFO.
Anyone here?
But everyone I love needs a cure. I have to continue, Dalton. I have to.
Come out. It's okay. Come out. I don't bite.
Oh,
I mean, come out.
you bad.
Family, mister.
And mine, I fear.
I saw my mama rip my daddy's face off and drink his blood.
You don't really come back from that.
And they were happily married 20 years.
Doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
We were so glad to see my mama. Because she's been dead for 3 years from the smallpox.
Your mama was dead?
I feel like there were warning signs. I feel like there were warning signs, people.
She ate my daddy. You weren't a bad man, mister. You weren't. Sure, he liked to drink, but he weren't bad. And sure, he liked the company of women, but he weren't bad, mister. He weren't.
No one deserves to have their blood drunk.
I mean,
Yeah, what do you say to that?
he knew how to use his fist. And if a woman spoke out her place, he reminded her of it and everything. And when my mama was dying, people said that he was lying with her sister, but that weren't true, mister. It weren't.
But you said your
I
mama
don't
was
need
dead.
these details.
Aaron, Mr. Braithwaite. He's been dead a year. And then yesterday, he walked up that street eating dogs. And he loves animals.
Are you not seeing a connection with a lack of motivation here?
Back to life, mister. Only they ain't happy. It's a funny kind of salvation.
All the dead folk?
All the folk buried at the cemetery over by the churchyard.
Her justification engine is running fast, and it is not. It is not on the right track.
I don't need to see any more of my relatives. Here, mister. Take this. If you can
Oh
run,
yes. Oh
you can
crap.
get their souls to
At the same time, this is a boon and the worst thing ever.
If you see my Uncle Mordecai, you burn him. Burn him real good, you hear?
I don't feel like acting out of vendetta is the most appropriate thing right now. Leave my horse alone. How do I? Oh God, the swing is so slow. I'm okay. We're gonna try this. I will probably get killed. Oh, all right, that worked. That's still like locked me down for a whole lot of time. Yeah, right. And at the end of that story, I'm not sure if the action blood includes John Marston standing, but according to this narrative, I bet it does. Burn the coffin. Yeah, because that doesn't sound like a trigger in any such way. Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah. Did I anger you? Burn the remaining oh crap. Yeah, right. Well, the fire should kill them? Question mark? I've got a bad feeling about this too. The more I burn, the more I rise, I bet.
You ain't eating me.
Ah! What the hell? Okay. Yeah, let's just push him over. That's fine. That's what I wanted. Yeah, eventually, that's true. No, insta-fire. See that backswing though? Oh crap. I'm getting beefed. Let's see. Shotgun, yes. Face, yes. Alright. And that's a limited commodity too, so we're just not gonna use that whenever I can. Oh, did she die? I think she died. Yeah, she died. Oh. No, no, no. I feel like by the virtue of this being a cemetery, okay, there is a limit. Okay, I'm okay with that. Oh, how fitting that the one person's name. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, we're gonna go over here. To the dome. Bet they didn't kill him. Nope. Oh, that was a miss. Good job. Oh shit. Really? Been playing too much Spider-Man. I immediately dive rolled. But that control scheme is not in play. Okay. Yeah, I know. Just because he's a big boy, he has a skull armor. Yeah, because I really want to go back to Blackwater. I will say the limited ammunition is driving a lot of the anxiety here. Very good choice.
You're starting to annoy me. I guess this will come in useful.
I don't have a sniper rifle. I do have a carbine. Why did he have that ammo on him?
I knew this was a waste of time.
I am still on the lookout to catch the first place that's streaming the Beto O'Rourke versus Ted Y. Try Cruz.
Christ's sakes.
So I will be occasionally looking to update my browsers for that. And we'll switch over as soon as I get that. Hopefully by then someone will have master engineered their green screen and can join me for a little discussion. We'll just get on camera. It's fine. Might go to a break before we go into this, just to get our friendly neighborhood Dalton on stream. Oh, I hear live fire. I don't think zombies can do live fire.
Hey, Fred! Over here!
If there's anything I know about a zombie apocalypse, is that humans are all... Yeah, I guess they would still be humans then. Yeah, humans are the non-zombies are generally more dangerous. Is that because they're unpredictable? I mean, you'd still like a horde of zombies is still incredibly dangerous and hard to overcome, but maybe it's because they're sentient and can connive, and they can always form like antagonist roles, which I guess you could never really get a true antagonist out of a zombie. But it fits it fits narratively as well as probably what you'd expect out of realism in this real situation. I'm not giving you ammo. I don't care if you do have the weapon. My weapon. My ammo. Alright, so I need to get down here and rough and tough. Increase the town's safety. Because they're not doing it. Sorry, I keep crouching. That button is run in a lot of other games.
I hope heaven's better the second time around.
I see you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good thing I'm actually good at doing headshots. Until I'm under pressure, and then the minute I need to do headshots to save my life, I will never get one. See, like this. This is a perfect example. Plus, the way the figures move is irregular, so it's hard to always predict whether. Oh crap! He's running at me. He's running at me. No! Baboosh! Oh, clear out the remaining, I bet. Okay. Well, come here. Oh, come on. I got that. All right. Okay. Can I not search into these zombies? None of them carried ammo? This town has been saved. This town is clear.
Oh, shit.
Oh, okay, so it resets itself. I think I remember that. It's not safe forever. I am low on ammo. Whew.
Folks okay?
Oh, just fantastic. I just saw my daughter get eaten by some creature sent straight from hell. Thanks for asking.
I'm kind of sorry I did.
Awful confrontational.
Sorry, mister. Forgive my wife. We've suffered terribly.
What's going
I
on?
believe that.
It's the government's fault.
Ain't it
I
all?
probably believe that too.
Just shut the goddamn border.
Alright, now you lost me.
Happened. My daughter was just some satanic demon's lunch because of the goddamn government. I pay my taxes. Well, usually.
I think
Usually.
we're a little off topic. I ain't a wise man, but I have done a little traveling. These creatures ain't like any foreigners I've ever seen.
Thanks for
No kidding.
cowpoke.
Oh my God.
On my family, and I'm taking advice about tolerance from a gunslinger. What in the world has my life come to? And my daddy told me I never should have gotten married. This is all your fault, you useless man.
Oh, not now, Doreen. Not this again. Your daddy was a bully and a drunk.
Well, you ain't no kind of man.
Listen, I'm sorry to interrupt your happy reminiscences.
Oh, I'm
Is there
sorry,
anything
but
I can do to
someone
help?
is
You got any
totally
idea
attention crying right
how
now.
we can survive?
You could try shooting them creatures, you dumb fool.
What have I been doing?
It's been a real pleasure. Sir, you're a man of great patience.
I agree.
See? That feller ain't hiding away like a little girl who's wet herself.
I thought we agreed we should stick together.
So we're just gonna stay up here till we either starve or have to eat each other?
What do you want me to do? I ain't God.
That surely you ain't. Oh, you're as useless as a four-card flush. Oh, God, I should have married Bert Sackett when I had the chance.
Not this again. Maybe you should have. Bert's the right kind of fella to have around when you have to start eating each other, that's for sure.
Whoa!
Take that tone with me. He ain't that big. And he knows how to treat a lady.
Another 10 pounds and he could join a sideshow.
Don't speak to me. I don't even want to hear your whining voice.
Suits me just fine.
Holy crap. Yeah, it was a doozy. Got a third person perspective and all. Let's see, what am I doing in this here? Circle. Curious Tales from Blackwater. Alright. Oh, this looks good.
You one of them, mister?
Do I look like one of them?
Well, don't come no closer. We made that mistake before, lost half our number.
I ain't one of them, you.
How many of them spoke to
How
you?
do I know?
They can't speak.
Okay, I'm on the right path.
Kill him, he's one of them!
Yeah.
No, I ain't.
Don't take no chances, Silas.
Have it your way, all right? Listen. I ain't coming no closer. Do you know what's going on?
It's the glass eye. The freak with a glass eye. He caused this.
No. It's the snake oil man. These poor folks have been drugged.
I blame the Mexicans. They haven't been struck down.
All right, we heard a lot of stories.
What?
Some say it's a moon, some say it's drugs. Hey, don't come no closer now. Stand back. Apparently it's worse in New Austin. Must be where it came from.
It looks like I'm headed down to New Austin.
Jeez.
What did you say? Snake oil?
It's the glass eye.
I blame the Mexicans.
Oh, we heard you.
Tavish, you don't know nothing. You always was an ignorant shrew. I bet your husband's glad he's dead.
Well,
At least someone said it.
my husband never took favors from the stargazers, Lucille Billingsgate.
You say you're sorry, you hillbilly white trash.
Yeah, now how are we gonna rebuild America like this?
The real questions.
Was gonna be kind and gentle and pay homage to our leader, who happens to be me.
And
Sounds
there
like
it
you
is.
folks have this all worked out. Have yourself a fine America. And good luck.
Every civilization will justify their power structure and will create an ideology revolving around justifying the sequestering of that power.
Gravy. I mean, folk respect me.
I am the new king, Archibald Andrews. Me. Now pay homage.
Oh, there. See, this is. What are you? Doesn't waste the ammo. All right, I clearly need to do something about this. Oh. All right.
Enough now, friend.
Does it have like a blade at the end? I don't see one, but I'll take it.
Damn it to hell. Time for my pound of flesh.
I will say I'm glad there's no mechanic for having to light the torch. I just wield it and it is fire.
Let's go.
So I'm good with that. My one break from realism there. Yeah, well, it does have the stealth blade aspect of like it comes into existence with fire attached to it as opposed to like having to be out and about or something.
Go.
I think I have the most ammo for this. Should probably load it. Holy crap. That would have been just, oh yeah, here, I'm gonna, oh, no ammo. Congratulations, jackass. You are now dead. Whoa, where am I headed? Okay. There's one here. Okay, thanks. Go to the far one, see what's going on. Actually, since I'm gonna have to pass by this. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it's gonna be something fucking creepy like the Psycho movie where there's just there's a body and someone around. You know I'm gonna come across that. You know I'm gonna come across that. Someone is gonna have a pet zombie that they're just like really friends with. Or like is refusing to admit that they're dead. And And it's gonna be like Psycho, where he keeps his mom's corpse. Oh God. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. You can't see it, but there's a blue blip on my map. I don't know where the hell that person is. Oh, okay. You saw that that person wasn't there a minute ago. Probably should not have gotten off my horse. Okay, just lovely that the horse runs away. Good idea. Yep, this was a plan. This was a plan. Holy shit, this was a plan. Ah! Whoa. That was helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. Get the fuck back here, horse. You're doing bad. You're doing bad. All right. Let's see. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. That's one. There we go. And there we go. Oh, you too? Okay, you too. Ah, no! Oh, okay. They can grab, apparently. Yep, thought that was gonna hit her. Oh, hit the one in front of you. These are ideas. All right. Leave my horsey alone. That's not meant for you. Please have ammo. All right. Ammo I can use. Apparently no ammo. Get out of here. What are you doing? Okay, I missed. I'm just going to go on record as saying I missed. I don't know if that's going to hit her face. Oh, that one's on fire. Okay, okay. This is not good. All right. Ah! Okay, okay. We're moving. We're using this weapon. Fire bottles? It's a slow burn in here tonight. It is getting time. Let's see if any of the places have updated. This town is clear. Not seeing it. Who did the last one here? Yeah, hold on. Let me go to break here, and hopefully I'll be back with Dalton and the debate. Stick around. Hello and welcome back.
Hello.
I am joined by our regular host, Dalton. Just in time for the debate. We're missing a little bit of the opening, but...
Yeah, I was trying to look at the comments, kind of...
I'm going to get to it here.
Abusing market powers and monopoly, the antitrust laws should be enforced.
Senator, that is your time. Congressman, to be clear, he said that, yes, Congress should enact regulations on social media. Yes or no, in the remaining 60-second rebuttal here for you, yes or no for regulations on social media?
Yes, I think we can have thoughtful regulations that ensure that we're making informed decisions based on facts and the truth, and we're not being manipulated by foreign powers. But it's interesting that Ted Cruz invested more than $5 million in Cambridge Analytica, which is the very company that helped to undermine our democracy, to feed false news and false opinions to our fellow Americans, to manipulate the world's greatest democracy.
I'm liking that he's going after Cruz. This is better than last time already.
Analytica. He voted against supporting and safeguarding the integrity of our ballot box, and our junior senator will not stand up to President Trump, someone who apologizes for Russia, defends that country, Vladimir Putin, the leader of the country that sought to undermine our democracy. He won't stand up against him, and he won't stand up for us to make sure that our elections are free and fair, that your vote goes to the intended candidate. This is beyond party politics. This is getting our democracy back on track, and we need a senator from Texas who will do that.
Congressman, that is your time.
Senator Cruz, Brett Kavanaugh was sworn in 11 days ago. The U.S. Supreme Court now has 5 justices who have either directly stated or suggested that Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided. Should we prepare for changes to abortion law in this country?
Well, listen, I believe that every human life is a gift from God, is a precious gift from God, and it should be protected. It should be protected.
Did yours go down?
I can restart it, right? No.
What?
Just refresh. People are saying refresh in chat.
So he has repeatedly
apologize.
voted in favor of late-term abortions. He has repeatedly voted in favor of taxpayer funding for abortions. I got to say that's not consistent with the views of the people of Texas. The people of Texas, and I will say especially the Hispanic community, we don't want to see taxpayer-funded Medicaid funding abortions and late-term abortions. I think that's extreme and that's disconnected. And I will note as well, on the question of judges is a massive divide between Congressman
He's making the argument that Beto voted to make it
I was proud
legal.
to help lead the effort to confirm Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. I was proud to help lead the effort to confirm Justice Brett Kavanaugh to the court. Congressman O'Rourke would have voted against both of them, and he wants to see, like Hillary Clinton promised to appoint, left-wing judicial activists who impose their own policy preferences from the bench.
How is that not what Kavanaugh's doing from the other side?
We want judges and justices who will follow the Constitution and follow the law.
Oh, bull! He's an activist. He's totally one of the...
Senator Cruz has a very troubling record when it comes to judicial nominations and confirmations. He supported the nomination of a judge, Jeff Mateer, who described transgender children as part of Satan's plan, believes in conversion therapy. He supported the nomination of a judge, someone to be a judge who'd never tried a case before, another potential judge who could not tell us whether Brown versus the Board of Education was correctly decided. From our perspective, in a state where you can be fired for being gay, I want a justice who believes in civil rights. From the perspective of a state that ranks 50th in voter turnout in the country, not by accident, by design, some people drawn out of their democracy, I want a justice who believes in voting rights. And for a state that is at the epicenter of the maternal mortality crisis, as we made it harder and harder for women to get access to...
God, this is killing me.
Refresh. Everyone is so upset in chat.
What the hell? I mean, I'm not sure what would cause this. Okay.
Welcome to 1984, where It's live on the CBS website, some are saying.
Can you see if you can find that and link it to me? I'm looking at other places.
Yeah, I can look. Oh yeah, I got it right here.
Send it to me. Please be
Second
more
rebuttal.
stable.
What should abortion law in Texas look like?
Well, you know, it's striking that Congressman O'Rourke didn't dispute his extreme record on abortion, supporting late-term abortion, supporting taxpayer funding for abortion.
Oh, okay.
You're just gonna play the abortion card twice in a row? I think that's what we're missing.
Supporting taxpayer funding for abortions late term, even for illegal aliens. That is, and he's voted for that. That is an extreme position. Fewer than 9% of Texans agree with him. He also didn't dispute that he opposed Justice Gorsuch, he opposed Justice Kavanaugh. And if you listen to what Congressman O'Rourke said he wants justices that agree with his own left-wing policy views. That's not the job of the court. The job of the court is to follow the law.
You only want people that agree with you,
you do it through elections.
No
kidding.
Do
it. The Constitution gives the power to the people, not 5 unelected lawyers in Washington. And let me note, the same judges that Congressman O'Rourke wants to see would also undermine the First Amendment, would undermine free speech, would undermine religious liberty, would undermine the Second Amendment.
Hillary Clinton promised
to appoint justices who would undermine the Second Amendment, and Congressman O'Rourke enthusiastically supported her doing so.
Senator, that's your time. Thank you very much.
Senator Cruz, President Trump said on Sunday that something is changing in regards to the climate. You're clearly on record for years saying there's no evidence to just back that up. That nothing exists yet to back that up. But major oil companies, including Texas-based ExxonMobil, says even on this website, the risk of climate change is clear and warrants action. That's ExxonMobil's own words there. So what do you tell Texas companies who think this really is a problem?
Well, listen, of course the climate is changing. The climate has been changing from the dawn of time. The climate will change as long as we have a planet Earth. I am the son of 2 mathematicians and computer programmers. I believe in science. I chair the Science and Space Subcommittee of the Senate Commerce Committee, and indeed, in that capacity, I chaired a hearing looking on the science and data behind global warming. And we heard testimony, we heard actual science and data. Far too many Democrats approach this issue not as a matter of science. I think we should follow the science and follow the evidence, but instead what they approach it as a matter of government power. They
Over
want
97%
the power to control the economy. That has led, for example, Congressman O'Rourke to cast some votes that I think are really harmful to the people of Texas. For example, Congressman O'Rourke voted in favor of a $10 a barrel tax on every barrel of oil produced in the state of Texas. That would have been absolutely devastating to the state of Texas. By the way, $10 a barrel, that works out to about 24 cents a gallon that every one of us would pay when you go fill up your car or truck. That would hurt the people of Texas.
And let me point out,
look, a robust energy sector is good for all of Texas. There are millions of jobs that depend on a robust oil and gas sector. And Congressman O'Rourke's record voting against Texas oil and gas, voting against energy,
he's voting to move it to renewable.
Jobs. It's not right for Texas. And let me point out, all of those
Texas
oil and gas
should
workers,
be one of the
homes,
leaders.
They buy cars and trucks. They get health care. They give to churches and schools. And by the way, the University of Texas and Texas A&M get hundreds of millions of dollars from our energy sector.
That's your time, Senator. Let's move on to a 90-second response from Mr. O'Rourke.
This is what you can expect over the course of this debate. Senator Cruz is not going to be honest with you. He's going to make up positions and votes that I've never held or have ever taken. He's dishonest. It's why the president called him Lying Ted, and it's why the nickname stuck. Look, the climate is
Listen to him
changing,
laugh over there being an asshole.
Man-made climate change is a fact. 300 years after the Enlightenment, we should be able to listen to the scientists and follow their advice and guidance. And they tell us that we still have time, but the window is closing to get this right. If we're going to make our commitment to the generations that follow and not just think about the next election or our political career or pursuit of the White House, then we can make the right decisions now. We can support Texas being a proud energy leader in oil and in gas, but also in renewable energy. Today, Texas leads the country. We're #1 in the nation in the generation of renewable wind power. We're #5 and moving up quick when it comes to solar. The two fastest growing jobs in the United States of America today, wind and solar jobs. We can continue to grow this economy.
We have a high energy
the false
need.
choice between oil and gas and renewable energy.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that we produce and refine and transport and use our energy resources more responsibly. And listen, this isn't one political party saying this. This is people of both parties in every single county in Texas that we've had the chance to listen to people. These are folks who work in the energy industry. Amy and I were in Iran, Texas, listening to those who work in some of these fracking operations. What they want is predictability and consistency in the regulations, and then they will perform to them.
Congressman, that's your time. Mr. Cruz, 60-second rebuttal. The question is, does ExxonMobil have it wrong here?
Well, it's clear Congressman O'Rourke's
He won't answer that
pollsters have told
question.
him to come out on the attack. So if he wants to insult me and call me a liar, that's fine. But, you know, John Adams famously said, facts are stubborn things. So if you want to see the vote he cast for a $10 a barrel tax on oil, go to our website. It's tedcruz.org. And we will put up the exact text of the vote and a link to Congressman O'Rourke's vote against the people of Texas. Let me say, if you work in energy, if you work in oil and gas, Congressman O'Rourke's record on this is extreme. He didn't just vote for a $10 a barrel tax on oil. He's also voted for aggressive regulations of fracking, aggressive regulations of exporting liquefied natural gas. He's a prominent supporter of President Obama's Paris climate deal, which would have killed thousands of jobs in the state of Texas. That's not good for Texas, and it's an example of, over and over again, Congressman O'Rourke sides with liberal extremists on the national level instead of the people of Texas, instead of jobs of Texas. And by the way,
Senator,
alternatives are great too. Texas leads in energy across the board.
Representative, this question is about immigration policy. We know your position and passion for the Dreamers, and we know that you are adamantly against extending the existing border fence. This question here is specifically about border security. If we don't need a border wall, can you please look at the people of Texas tonight and tell them what we do need?
I'd be happy to. And listen, I don't know that there's another person who has a greater stake in this issue than I do. Amy and I are raising Ulysses and Molly and Henry in El Paso, Texas, one half of the largest binational community on the border, the defining border community. We care about our kids' safety. I care about the safety of those that I represent in Congress. I care about the safety of every single person in the state of Texas. El Paso, in fact, is one of, if not the safest cities in the United States of America. It's because we have world-class law enforcement, police and sheriff's deputies, but it's also because we are a city of immigrants. A quarter of those that I represent were born in another country, chose us, came here to this country, and by their very presence made it better. No wall is going to solve legitimate security concerns, but smart policy will. And let me describe one of those to you. Senator John Cornyn and I,
I've never seen
he's a Republican and I'm a Democrat.
The moderators interrupt him.
Worked on policy together to invest in our ports of entry. That's where more than 90% of everyone and everything that ever comes into the United States first crosses. Having a better idea of who and what comes into our country demonstrably makes us safer. And at the same time, those customs officers are able to facilitate legitimate trade and travel that's connected to more than 1 million jobs in the state of Texas. As we all know, here, the home of Toyota, trade is the lifeblood of the state of Texas. If we can make our communities more secure, as this bill did, and facilitate more job-growing trade, then we've really figured something out. And I think that John Cornyn and I have been able to do it. Republicans and Democrats working together on an issue that makes Texas better.
That's your time. Thank you. Senator, you have 90 seconds to respond.
So everyone should notice in his answer that he wanted to talk about trade, he wanted to talk about customs, he wanted to talk about everything except
oh, come on.
In the state of Texas. As for me, I'm incredibly honored to have received the
Oh, come on. I think I did that one.
Oh, no.
I tried to change. We're dropping a few frames. I apologize for people watching the stream. I'm trying to make the quality match our frame rate that or our internet upload that I'm able to access. But, oh, I do apologize.
Ah!
Oh, man. I am sorry,
Right across
everybody. Let's
from
see.
Juarez, one of the most dangerous cities in the world, 3,000 murders last year. There's a wall there. That wall is one of the tools you use.
It's going great.
Man.
I like how he's talking shit about how Beto wasn't talking about the wall and border security, but that was part of the question. And the moderator interrupted him as soon as he said anything about the wall.
Right.
Like, he was almost scared off from even mentioning the topic. You're talking shit about him not talking. But that sounds like Lion Ted, I guess.
For real, though.
With any luck, he wasn't at least spoon-fed the questions beforehand.
Staffing of customs officers. It means infrastructure at our bridges that connect us with Mexico, where more than 90% of everyone and everything first crosses. And it means investment in the technology that ensures that we do a better, smarter job screening those who first come into this country. That will make us safer. It also means that we support local law enforcement, those police officers and sheriff's deputies who keep this country safe. We can do that as well. But listen, we cannot use this idea of border security to be an impediment to moving forward on those issues that are also demanding our action, in which Texans know better than perhaps any other people of any other state. On issues of immigration reform, the fate of Dreamers, nearly 200,000 in the state of Texas. When the Senate voted to move forward on debate for Dreamers, 98 senators showed up that day. 97 voted to move forward. Only one senator voted no, stood in the corner while everyone else was at the table. Ted Cruz has put his career above the interests and priorities of Texas. Ted Cruz is for Ted Cruz.
That's your time. Thank you very much.
Hold on a second. Let me respond to that, please. Which is, I noticed Congressman O'Rourke said we need to support law enforcement. I think that's striking that he says that now in a debate, because his career has been one consistently of opposing law enforcement. Indeed, someone else who is here today is Detective Mike Kelly, who leads the San Antonio Police Officers Association. Senator, Detective Kelly has endorsed me, and I would note as well, 171 elected Texas sheriffs, including...
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, I'd like to smear him back. What?
Exactly.
But we agreed we could have a 60-second...
Oh, come on.
But we agreed on a 60-second rebuttal if necessary, and I want to make a point on law enforcement. He claimed he supports...
He already finished his rebuttal. We have to move on to the next topic.
Gentlemen,
Come on, man.
About healthcare.
Get over it,
what you're
dude.
looking at for our television audience is a live picture at our Victory Park studios in Dallas, where that social media response team is listening to our viewers out there too. The overwhelming conversation online we're hearing about is about healthcare. And one post asks you directly, Congressman O'Rourke, if universal health care is going to cost trillions of dollars, what do you cut from the federal budget?
No!
Or how much are you going to raise my taxes to pay for that?
It costs, say it right.
With the goal. What is it that we're trying to achieve?
It's from social media. That's why it's
can see a
the
doctor.
question.
But the truth is that it doesn't cost more.
Take their child to a therapist, be well enough to live to their full potential.
Oh, you should have started with that's not true. Come on.
That working families pay less for health care costs than they do today. So here's some steps that we could take to get to your answer. We could expand Medicaid. This is a state that left $100 billion on the table. We could expand Medicaid. More working Texans are able to be well enough to go back to work, to be there for their families. We could introduce Medicare as an option on the exchanges to drive down the increase in premium costs and expand selection and choice. And then we could take the lead as the state that is the least insured in the United States, who perhaps better understands the consequences of failing to be there by and for one another better than anyone else, on guaranteed, high-quality, universal health care. There are a number of ways to get better from Medicare for all to one where you use a mix of employer-based insurance and the ability for people to pay into Medicare. That could come at a cost of around $1.6 trillion over the next 10 years. If you look at the tax cut that Senator Cruz just voted for, $2 trillion added to $21 trillion in debt, the disproportionate benefit flowing to corporations.
Plus the increased spending.
And move that corporate tax rate, not to where it was, but maybe 5 points, from 21 to 26. You would generate the money necessary to pay for access to health care so that everyone lives to their full potential.
Congressman, that's your time. Mr. Cruz, 90 seconds response.
You know, I have to say, he really didn't want to answer the question of how to pay for it. So let me be clear what it would cost. Congressman O'Rourke is proposing socialized medicine, the federal government in charge of your health care and your doctor. There are at least 3 big problems with
Smear.
that. Number 1, every place on earth that happens, you have rationing and waiting lists. If you look at the United Kingdom, if a senior needs to get a hip replacement, it takes about 90 days. In the Canada, it takes about 200 days.
No, it doesn't.
But number 2, the cost would be immense.
No,
when
it
Bernie
doesn't.
Sanders rolled
Ted
out
Cruz.
this plan, and Congressman O'Rourke supports the Bernie Sanders plan of socialized medicine, the Urban Institute, which is a left-leaning institute, scored it as costing $32 trillion over 10 years. That's $2.5 trillion
which is $2 trillion less than the 10-year perspective of what we're doing right now.
The total we raise from all of our income taxes is $1.5 trillion. So Congressman
You're a
O'Rourke's
liar.
plan would require
That's still the worst
tripling
estimate
your
of it.
taxes. He said you could do it with 5 points on the corporate rate. That doesn't even pass
You're a liar.
elementary school math. We're talking about, and by the way, his next answer likely will be tax the rich. Well, let me tell you something. If you took every person in America making $1 million or more, and you took 100% of their income, it would pay for 5 months of Congressman O'Rourke's socialized medicine. We can't afford
he
literally
I bet
makes
he
no fucking sense.
I bet he pulled that out of his ass.
That would bankrupt Medicare. It would hurt seniors. Seniors have paid into Medicare. They rely
What he said
on
made
it,
no sense.
and putting
At all.
200 million people, including illegal immigrants, on it could bankrupt Medicare.
Senator Cruz, at your time. Mr. O'Rourke, if elected in your 60 seconds rebuttal, how do you get that passed?
What the hell are you talking about?
Look, all you've heard from Senator Cruz is what we should be afraid
Took you
of.
a year to see an eye
It's a campaign
specialist?
based on fear.
What for?
It's the same person who shut down the government of the United States of America for 16 days, perhaps because he thought too many people had too much health care.
We wait years for certain specialists here in America.
Yeah, I love how Jordan Peterson actually advocates for y'all's health care, but you're not.
Conditions. I want people to have more health care. I want people to be well enough to finish their education, to go to school. I want to bring people of Texas together, Republicans and Democrats alike, from all parts of this state, to make sure that we lead on an issue that we understand better than anyone else. In a state where the largest provider of mental health care services is the county jail system, in a state where people are dying of the flu and diabetes, in the wealthiest and most powerful country in the year 2018, surely we can do better. And I've laid out some steps that would allow us to do that, beginning with expanding Medicaid, introducing Medicare as an option on the exchanges, and then describing the goal that we want to get to, and ensuring that Republicans and Democrats alike come to the table to work on that.
Congressman, that is your time. Senator Cruz, there's
I
a
will
lot
say
of concern
that
in
to see a
Texas and all over the country
gastroenterologist
about
in
President
America,
Trump
it takes
increasing
3
the
months.
tariffs. Toyota says Tundra trucks produced right here in San Antonio will increase in cost by $3,000 next year because of rising tariffs on auto parts. 2 nights ago on 60 Minutes, President Trump did not rule out increasing tariffs again. So the question is, do you believe tariffs threaten Texas growth? And if so, is it time for the Senate to step in and stop it?
I'm against tariffs. I'm against a trade war.
Is it time for the Senate to step in and stop it?
Let me answer the question. I'm against tariffs. I'm against a trade war. I have made the case repeatedly to President Trump that in trade, we should be expanding our access to foreign markets. We should be expanding the ability of Texas farmers and ranchers and manufacturers and energy to export our goods and services. If we are reducing the barriers, whether it is to Mexico or Canada or China or anywhere else, so we're selling more, that's a good thing. If we're erecting barriers and shutting down trade, that is a bad thing. This is one of the few issues on which Congressman O'Rourke and I have some common ground, in that we've both spoken out in favor of trade. The difference is that I'm able to work with President Trump and make the case to President Trump, and we have seen, for example, the president has negotiated a new NAFTA, a new trade deal that has benefits that should benefit the state of Texas, that should benefit San Antonio. Congressman O'Rourke is not able to work with President Trump, and indeed, Congressman O'Rourke is the only Democratic Senate nominee in the country who has explicitly come out for impeaching President Trump. That is extreme, and it means if Congressman O'Rourke has his way, you know, he mentioned a shutdown. You want to talk about a shutdown?
Yeah, he does.
Congressman O'Rourke leading the way. 2 years of a partisan circus shutting down the federal government in a witch hunt on the president. That's not good for the state of Texas. It's not good for our country.
No, none of the shutdowns during the Obama administration.
Really
they were
interesting
okay.
to hear you talk about a partisan circus after your last 6 years in the U.S. Senate. Listen,
you go, Beto.
If you have this special
By the way, I did
relationship
look
with
up
President Trump,
the Canadian wait times
then
are pretty
where
bad.
is the result of that?
At least for last year.
An eye specialist.
I didn't specifically for an eye specialist. I'm sure that's wrapped up in it, though.
The trade wars that he has entered.
I'm not advocating for Canada's Medicare,
no
but
state more than it's hurting Texas.
We
our
have wait
farmers,
times here too in
ranchers,
capitalist America.
Our producers, our manufacturers, and our
Which,
exporters.
Thank
right
you
here in
for your
San
point.
Antonio, at the Toyota plant, where
SC
Amy
Fox,
and I bought
thank
our
you.
Tundra and met the folks who made it. Yes, we have problems
And for
with other
correcting me.
countries around the world. China dumping aluminum and steel, manipulating their currency. And I want to make sure that we stand up to China. But when have we ever gone to war, including a trade war, without any allies? And that's exactly what the president, with Senator Cruz's help, would have us do. We've alienated the European Union. We've alienated Canada and Mexico. We've alienated all other potential partners, and we're going in
or anybody who thinks they can have a
China,
deal with
and
us
it
that
is
lasts
not
longer than a
working.
presidency.
Just listen to the farmers, and I know you haven't had the chance to visit every county, but I have, and I've listened to them, and they are hurting. And the anxiety and the uncertainty of not knowing when these trade wars will end, or the certainty of knowing that when those trade wars do end, those buyers in those other countries will find other people from whom to have bought from. And they will no longer be coming to Texas to buy what we grow, what we raise, what we export, and what we manufacture. We need a senator who will work with the president when we can and stand up to him where we must. And on these tariffs, we must stand up to him.
Senator Cruz, 60 seconds to rebuttal, but I want to ask you again, should the Senate step in and stop this?
I think we should keep working with the president, which is what we have been doing. But, you know, Congressman O'Rourke just asked an interesting question. He said, where are the results? Congressman O'Rourke and I were both elected to Congress on the same day 6 years ago, in November of 2012. We've served exactly the same length of time in Congress. In those 6 years, I have authored and passed 34 separate pieces of legislation, major victories for the American people. But he asked where are the results. I'll point to one front and center, which is the historic tax cut that I spent thousands of hours bringing senators together, getting passed. And he said, where are the results? The state of Texas is booming. We've got right now the lowest unemployment in 49 years. African-American unemployment is the lowest that's ever been recorded. Hispanic unemployment is the lowest that's ever been recorded. Youth unemployment
poor jobs.
is the lowest in 52
I actually heard a report on Fox News today
of low taxes and low
that
regulations.
there were 70 million unfilled jobs in America.
Always in favor of higher taxes. He said in response to how he made socialized medicine, higher taxes, that's not good for Texas.
Thank you very much. Representative O'Rourke, you supported $15 billion to help victims of Hurricane Harvey. But 2 weeks after that, you voted against a bill that would have also given them tax relief. What do you tell those victims who are still struggling financially today, 1 year later?
I've been with many of those who were affected by Harvey in the immediate aftermath, going to places like Rockport or Port Aransas, Houston, Beaumont, Port Arthur, and continuing to come back again and again to see what we can do to be helpful. I voted for more than $136 billion in aid to support those communities who've been hit by natural disasters, including Harvey. And in the specific bill that you asked about, the tax relief was not as great as we have seen for those who've been through other natural disasters. I thought we could get a better deal. But I am there for those communities each and every single day. I continue to go back to places like Kashmir Gardens in Houston, Texas, which more than a year later is still not fully rebuilt. And I continue to wonder why Senator Cruz voted against more than $12 billion in FEMA preparedness, knowing full well that we will see more Harveys going forward. Mind you, that was the third 500-year flood in just the last 5 years. We know that there will be more of these floods coming, and I want to make sure that the people of Texas, especially Southeast Texas, are prepared
there's
for
your
the
climate
next one.
change
That $12
evidence
billion will also include hundreds of millions of dollars in support for volunteer fire departments like the one that I visited in Rockport, where of those 20 volunteer firefighters, more than half lost all of their worldly
After this
possessions.
answer, I want to see if I can reduce the quality just one more step
as they
so that we can stop dropping frames
in their communities. So yes, I will be there. I will work with anyone, anytime, anywhere to make sure that those Texans who need the help to rebuild get it, and that we invest in their ability to be resilient for the next storm.
That's your time. Thank you, Senator Cruz.
It was devastating. I was home with Heidi and my girls during the hurricane, and for months thereafter spent time in virtually every community along the Gulf Coast, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, working with the state and local officials. I mentioned earlier 171 sheriffs have endorsed my campaign, including 10 Democrats. One of the reasons why the overwhelming majority of elected sheriffs have endorsed my campaign is because many of those sheriffs I worked with hand in hand after Harvey. In the Senate, I helped lead the effort to pass 3 major disaster relief bills, working hand in hand with John Cornyn, where we improved and expanded those disaster relief bills. And the emergency tax relief that you just referenced was legislation that I authored. I authored, introduced, passed into law, did it jointly with John Cornyn and Marco Rubio. The Cruz-Cornyn-Rubio emergency tax relief gave over $5 billion in emergency tax relief for families impacted by Hurricane Harvey. It passed both houses of Congress, overwhelmingly was signed into law, provided immediate relief for those impacted by Harvey. Only 4 Texas Democrats voted no on that legislation. One of them was Congressman O'Rourke, the congressman from El Paso, and there was a reason for that. You know, he gave an answer now. He said that it didn't provide enough tax relief. That's not what he said at the time he voted no. At the time he voted no, he said the reason he voted no is that he wanted to focus on illegal immigrants instead of hurting illegal. That was his answer at the time.
Representative, thank you, Senator. Representative, you get 60 seconds for a rebuttal. Do you regret that vote?
I don't. I will always see what I can do, work with anyone, anytime, anywhere, to do better for Texas. And that was what I was trying to do. But, you know, Senator Cruz mentioned listening to and working with local leaders in Houston. I've listened to and worked with the mayor and the county judge, a Democrat and a Republican, each of whom is still waiting for $1.1 billion awarded to the local governments in community development block grant funding that has still not made its way into the neighborhoods, into the streets, into the homes, into the businesses to rebuild. They need a full-time senator, not somebody running for president who's going to focus on their needs and make sure that that money gets there. They need a full-time senator who would have been at bat for them before the storm on infrastructure projects that they had identified needed funding, but they needed a senator who was going to work for them. Army Corps of Engineer approved projects totaling in the hundreds of millions of dollars, who did not have an advocate because he wasn't in Texas, he wasn't in Houston, he was in Iowa, he was in New Hampshire. He was running for another office instead of taking care of the concerns and the needs of the people of Texas.
Representative, thank you very much.
Senator Cruz, a year ago this week, October 18th, 2017, you tweeted out the following statement. When it comes to the deficit and debt, it is immoral, the debt we have. We have to turn it around, you wrote. Yet 2 months later, last December, as you just mentioned a moment ago, you voted for the Republican tax plan that the Joint Committee on Taxation, Congressional Budget Office, and many other nonpartisans say will add more than $1 trillion to the deficit. Some people see the tweet and the vote as hypocritical. Are they not?
They are not remotely. I'm proud to have supported the tax cut. The tax cut is producing enormous benefits for the state of Texas and for the country. We're seeing record growth. We're seeing record low unemployment. It's benefiting 4 million new jobs in the last 2 years. And by the way, one thing that Democrats never seem to understand,
ignoring the question and saying nice
things. Pay down deficit and debt, and I care passionately about the deficit and debt. It is immoral, the deficit and debt we've racked up. If you want to do it, the only force strong enough to do that is economic growth. Now, let's go back to a little history. In the 1960s, John F. Kennedy, a Democrat, campaigned on tax cuts, cutting individual tax cuts and the corporate tax rate. He said a rising tide will lift all boats. He passed it, and the economy boomed and federal tax revenue went up. In the 1980s, Ronald Reagan campaigned on cutting taxes to get the economy growing. He passed it. The economy boomed and federal tax revenues went up. We did the same thing this time. This time, with that tax cut, we're seeing the results, and today, to date, federal tax revenues have gone up. Senator, federal tax revenues are higher.
No, the report that came out today is that we're at a deficit.
Senator, I was with you in Iowa. I've heard you on the campaign.
Yeah, you're ignoring the question.
Saying how bad the deficit is.
Yes.
And this vote.
I'm just debunking what he's actually saying because I know he's not going to answer the question.
That projection is wrong. By the way, that projection also would have said that the Kennedy tax cuts would have added to the deficit and the Reagan tax cuts would have added to the deficit. The reason we have deficit and debt is not that we cut taxes and spurred the economy. The reason we have deficit and debt is because
of Social Security.
Keeps spending. That's Senator, why we need to pass term limits. It's why we need to pass a balanced budget amendment. We need to stop the out-of-control spending. That is your time. Things like socialized medicine.
90-second response, Congressman O'Rourke. 90-second response.
Yeah, all the socialized medicine that we're experiencing.
Only one of us has, with good friends in El Paso, started a small business. met that payroll every week, balanced the books, made sure that we delivered for our clients. Only one of us has served at the local government level every single year, balancing the budget, seeing each other not as Republicans and Democrats, but as council members entrusted with a fiduciary responsibility to deliver for the taxpayers of El Paso. Every single year we did. And for Senator Cruz to say that this isn't going to bust the budget at a time of $21 trillion in debt, when we're on track to deficit spend to the tune of $1 trillion a year, he voted to add $2 trillion.
Right on top.
And those tax cuts disproportionately will flow to corporations who are already sitting on record piles of cash and the already wealthy in a country that is riven with income inequality unseen since the last Gilded Age. Why? In the days just before and just after that vote, Senator Cruz accepted $120,000 from the political action committees who represent the corporate interests that benefited from this tax cut. Why does he vote for this? Why does he vote for internet companies to sell your private browsing data to the highest bidder without your consent? Why does he not vote for universal background checks in a country that loses 30,000 people to gun violence every year? Follow the money.
That's 10 9/11s, everybody.
If you look at the political action committee contributions to Senator
That's almost
Cruz,
a 9/11
it
a
helps
month.
to explain the reasons for his vote and how corrupted Congress has become. I don't take PAC money, not a dime. I always and only represent the people of Texas.
Congressman, that is your time. Senator Cruz, 60-second rebuttal.
You know, Congressman O'Rourke is fond of saying he doesn't take PAC money, but the truth is different. For example, the J Street PAC, which is a rabidly anti-Israel PAC, has raised over $160,000 for Congressman O'Rourke because of his many votes against the nation of Israel. Another example, he has a super PAC based up in Dallas that has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, is spending them on ads attacking me and my family. So when he says he doesn't take PAC money, he just lets others do it for him. But let me say more fundamentally, the reason people care about this is they care about who you're fighting for. Consistently, if you look at Congressman O'Rourke's record, every time there is a choice between left-wing national activists and the people of Texas, he goes with the left-wing national activists.
What does that mean?
With the left-wing national donors.
What is a
left-wing
national activist?
About his vote for a $10 a barrel tax on oil. That is a great vote if you're raising money in San Francisco. It's a terrible vote.
This is some scare
care
tactic
about
shit.
jobs in the state of Texas.
That's your time. We want to keep this debate on track.
He's trying to pin the white nationalist on us.
Keep this debate on track.
With almost 70% of Americans saying civility.
Oh, I missed that. That's a good play.
Yeah. Let's talk about the tone of this campaign and what's happened here in the last half hour, 45 minutes. We all watched as activists chased you and your wife Heidi out of the restaurant in D.C. And then, Senator, some say you couldn't even give a political-free compliment to your opponent in the first debate in Dallas.
He couldn't, and he didn't.
Is, what responsibility do you have to bring civility and respect back to the country?
Listen, Jason, I think every one of us has a responsibility to bring civility and respect. That's something I've endeavored to do throughout politics, is to focus on substance.
I'm going to be really civil here real quick. Why don't you do us a favor of fixing your nose?
Personal attacks, the going to the gutter that is so common in politics, I try not to engage in. If you look at my disagreements with Congressman O'Rourke, they haven't been
smears and
personal
attacks.
They've been his voting record in Congress that has been markedly out of step with the people of Texas. You are right that there is a loss of civility. There is an anger. There is a rage on the far left that is really frightening. You know, the images
and of course we're supposed to be frustrated at this point. Look what you're doing to us.
Of a left-wing mob beating on the doors of the Supreme Court. That's not good for our country. We can disagree while treating each other with respect, while treating each other with civility. I think that's important to do. We can discuss, are tax cuts good,
unless it's your mob.
That's a discussion we ought to have. But
if it was your mob, then it was peaceful assembly.
It should focus
First Amendment
on actual substance. And let me tell you, I think the lowest point we have seen is the confirmation hearings for Justice Kavanaugh.
Good people on both sides.
We saw
Why
Senate
did you
Democrats
need to rush Kavanaugh?
be willing to smear Judge Kavanaugh and his family, be willing to repeat unsupported, uncorroborated allegations and go after him in a way that I thought was shameful. It was important.
And some elements were corroborated, but we don't talk about facts here.
To tell her story, that she be treated with respect, and she was. But it was important that he be treated with respect as well, and he was not.
Senator, that is your time. Congressman O'Rourke, 90 seconds for a response.
Every year, Allegheny College presents an award for civility in American politics. One of the first years, it was awarded to Senator John McCain and Vice President Biden. Another year, it was awarded to the family of the late Justice Antonin Scalia and Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And last year, I was lucky enough, fortunate enough, to receive that award along with Will Hurd. Our ability to travel across the country.
What a weird
as a
track record for that prize.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this prize.
To get to work in Congress, enjoying one another's legislation to do better.
Was he pointing out that it was left and right wing?
The party differences
that might
otherwise stand between us was recognized.
I didn't like the track record.
It's the same kind of approach that I take to just about everything that I do in Congress, everything that I do in life. When we found out that veterans were unable to access mental health care services, that 500,000 veterans with bad paper discharges were denied the ability to go to the VA, I worked with my colleague from Colorado, Mike Kaufman. Though he's a Republican and I'm a Democrat, we were able to bury the differences, compromise, a 4-letter word among some in Washington, D.C., and find a consensus piece of legislation that passed the House of Representatives 435-0, passed the Senate as well, and was signed into law by President Donald J. Trump. Now, President Trump is someone with whom I don't agree on everything. But where we could make things better for those veterans, we did it. We buried the differences, we put them aside, and we put this country's interests before us. That's the kind of leadership that we need from Texas going forward. That's the kind of leadership this country deserves.
Oh, he's being reasonable, and I love it, but it's not going to win anything.
Doesn't the inflammatory rhetoric just exacerbate the situation?
Absolutely. I think we should focus on substance and not inflammatory rhetoric. You know, I will say it was
I read a poll, or I saw a
conference
poll
in DC
earlier today
about
done on one of the Dallas
Congressman
morning
O'Rourke
news
again repeated his call
channels,
for
and they
impeaching
said
President Trump.
that
That's the very
they polled
essence
a
of
lot of Americans,
civility.
or a lot of the Texans in the area, and 98% of people polled said that they had already made up their mind, that the debate would not change their mind in any way.
Our economic growth, we would see an end to much of
I
the
know.
progress we've seen rebuilding our military, making
I also
progress on
am
foreign
kind of
policy.
giving up on debates.
Washington would be consumed by partisan investigations. That's
I'm almost
not
of mind
civility. Let me point
that
out more broadly.
you should
It's
have
interesting
to
that Congressman O'Rourke
never
points to a
mention
bill
your
that another
opponent in a
congressman
debate
wrote that he was a co-sponsor
and
of.
only talk about yourself.
There's a reason for that.
That would
And you notice
introduce
in
a
his
different
campaign,
challenge,
if you
right?
notice in
Like
this
you
debate,
only
he
have to
doesn't
provide
talk
your own substance, and you
about
can
what
never
he
talk
has
about their
accomplished in Congress
performance or their
because he has
substance or lack
scored
thereof.
political points rather than
That really, I think, is going to favor the Republicans, but
We've
that
already
in a
talked about
utopian
emergency
world, that would be the
tax
fair
relief
way
in
of
the wake
doing it.
Harvey that I authored.
Republicans kind of
Passed a law.
already
That was
ignore their
bipartisan.
opponent. They
we
just
had
shout
Democrats
others
and
and make scary like analogies and shit. Like he attacks Beto, but he also attacks in the same way we attack every other liberal. There's not a lot of like. I mean, there's some substance to it and stuff, but he's just making him a scary other. That's why,
I don't think Ted
doesn't always
Cruz.
make sense.
I don't think Ted Cruz has talked a lot about his positions in this debate. I think he's talked a lot about Beto's misposition. So I would disagree with you in saying that. Just because I think his entire debate strategy is this is why Beto's not a good candidate. Therefore, I'm the lesser of two evils.
Leadership that we have seen across this country in
very
positions of
Hillary
public trust
Clinton
in Congress.
strategy.
I know. That was kind of the allegory I was going for.
Meeting the challenge of this moment. Congress members like Jackie Spear from California, who authored legislation that I co-sponsored that ensures that members of Congress are held to a higher standard, that there's true transparency in their conduct, and there's not the ability to cover up, and there's the important training to make sure that everyone in their offices, in their lives, is treated with the respect and the dignity that they deserve. I also support.
I just noticed the subliminal messaging in the background of the oil rigs.
We have the resources and the training and the funding to protect the lives of the women in our lives and in this state.
No
and
solar
throughout this
panels in
country.
sight.
Inexplicably, or maybe he'll
It's
have
just
an explanation.
Texas.
Senator Cruz voted against
Texas
the Violence
thing.
Against Women's Act. We have to make sure that we're more than just talk. We have to have actions that follow this up. We've got to make sure that, for example, when we're talking about women, we're talking about equal pay for equal work. When we're talking about women, we talk about ensuring that they can make their own decisions about their own bodies and have access to the health care that allows them to do that. It means that our rhetoric has to be followed up by our actions. And in Senator Cruz, we don't have that today.
Congressman, thank you. In response, Senator, what do you tell your daughters?
I think the Me Too movement has done an incredible amount of good for our country. Sexual assault is wrong, sexual harassment is wrong, and we've seen in recent months powerful men in Hollywood, powerful men in politics, powerful men in journalism, powerful men in business called to account for abominable behavior. I believe every
only the left
men,
wing,
girls, and boys
ones.
need to be protected, need to be treated with dignity. And as you
Notice
noted,
he brings up
I'm the father of 2
Weinstein
girls.
first,
I want
not
them
by
to, their
name.
rights to be protected. I want them to be valued. I'm also the son of my mom, who graduated from Rice in 1956, went to work at Shell as a computer programmer. She was a professional woman.
I know
in the
he didn't mean to say that, but
faced a very difficult climate.
I'm still
going to
poke
Heidi,
fun
my
at you.
best friend in the world, works in the financial sector. Again, always a difficult climate. We need.
I bet she was a difficult client.
Rights. And let me tell you, when it comes to stopping sexual assault and when it comes to dealing with those who commit them.
Oh, please, Ted Cruz, tell me
I
how.
was the Solicitor General of
You're
Texas,
you're the
chief lawyer
expert
for the
here.
state in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. I handled over and over and over again cases dealing with rapists, dealing with those who committed sexual assault, dealing with child predators.
Probably without evidence, too.
And it has been a passion of mine. And Congressman O'Rourke mentioned sexual harassment in Congress. Well, I joined with New York Democrat Kirsten Gillibrand. The two of us were the lead authors on legislation to stop the indefensible practice of secret taxpayer settlements for members of Congress who were harassing their staff. There should be no secret settlements. They should be public. Senator. And it's important that they be accountable.
I applaud you for that, Cruz, but I don't see why you did it.
Listen,
that's shit that should have been done before you got there, said Cruz.
I also agree with my buddy Dalton.
To do the right thing, one of them being the Violence Against Women Act. Didn't hear a good reason why he failed to support that. Look, you've got somebody, as I mentioned earlier, who is all talk and no action.
Hit him in the teeth.
You've got somebody who left the state of Texas within a year of being elected to represent all of us to run for another office. Hasn't been to all the counties of Texas, but has been to all 99
I don't know if I like him harping on that
has
fact
missed
of him visiting every county.
In 2015, missed half of them in 2016.
Yeah, it brings up a little much.
There's only one other senator from either party over the last 25 years who has a worse record on bipartisanship. In other words, Ted Cruz has a harder time working with members across the aisle than almost anyone else to get anything done. So if he's not showing up in Texas, if he's not showing up in D.C. to vote, who is he showing up for?
His donors.
I want to make sure that whether it is women and the issue that you just asked about now or any other priority that we have in the state, we have a senator who shows up every single day for every single one of us.
Let him finish the sentence.
Let's move on to something different here, too. We have 60 seconds for each of you. We want you to tell us something you've done in the last year that has nothing to do with politics that will give Texans insight to who you are as a person. Senator Cruz, you first.
Well, I'm glad they threw a curveball once, I guess.
The hardest thing about being in this job is being a dad. My girls are here.
There you go.
Last
All right, I'm going to pay. This is
He's got so many like
both of us are dads of young kids.
Free slugged answers. It's so ridiculous.
Our girls are 7 and 10.
Like he listens for the questions for keywords, and then just answers the way he wants. It doesn't really matter what the.
You know, last year I helped coach Caroline's girls basketball team, the 4th grade basketball team. The basketball practices were Sunday afternoon, so I was able to be at the practices. As Caroline will point out many times, in the course of the whole season, I made it to 1 game. That's not okay with her. By the way, one of the games that I thought I was going to make it to was going to be a Friday night game. I was planning to come back. It was the night of the vote on the tax cut. And so I was in the Senate, and I had to call home and say, Caroline, I'm sorry, I've got to be here.
I just want to, like,
let me tell you,
after the fact, I'm going to clip out that moment where she asked the question, or he asked the question, and Ted Cruz's operating system reset.
You know,
that was fantastic.
Being a dad, I mean, part of what we do.
While you were in the bathroom, I'm sure you didn't hear. I kind of pointed out this isn't too far from any other question really for Ted, as far as he doesn't actually listen. He's just trying to hear the key word, and then he's like, "Oh, death penalty. Here we go. Oh, guns. I know what to say here."
Exactly.
So this was the weird one. He's like, "Oh, I'll talk about my mom again, or I'll talk about my kids again."
My kids as much as I want to.
I miss my wife again.
Takes on the lion's share of the burden with a child who's just entered 6th grade, another who's in 5th, and Henry who's in 2nd. Every now and then we get down in the basement where I have a drum kit that ostensibly was purchased for Henry, but really was for me. A PA and an amplifier, and me and the kids will rock out, and Amy allows us to do that for a little while. We go to Ulysses travel baseball tournaments. The last one was in Las Cruces. I've had them in Alamogordo as well. Just went with Molly, who is nursing back to life a blind squirrel that was picked up in East Texas, dropped off in El Paso at a wildlife animal rescue run by Ms. Julie. Got to meet this blind squirrel who's slowly regaining its sight. You know, Henry, one of the best parts of my day is when I am at home, getting to walk him to school and just talking about what he dreamed about the night before and what he's into this day. So with very little time outside of the campaign or my official job, I spend it with my family.
Congressman, thank you for sharing as well, too. We've asked you both a lot of questions tonight. Now we want to let you guys address Texas voters directly. You both get 2 minutes for closing statements here. As we mentioned earlier on, a flip of the coin gives you the final word tonight. Senator Cruz,
I do too.
Congressman O'Rourke, you're up first.
Really, Ted Cruz probably didn't answer too bad.
I just want to thank you each for moderating this debate, everyone who has been here to witness it, and all those who made this campaign in the election of our lifetime possible. I was talking to Amy tonight about this moment that stayed with me after I first met Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis. He's meeting with members of the Armed Services Committee, and he reminded us that the United States historically has enjoyed two principal powers that distinguish us from the rest of the world. One is the power of intimidation, to field the most awesome military force the world has ever known. The other, and he thought maybe the greater power, is the power of inspiration, to continue to be the indispensable nation that lives up to the promise and the potential of our founders, a nation that not just Americans look up to, but the world looks up to. And whether we will remain the inspiration of the world is an open question right now. Walls, Muslim bans, the press as the enemy of the people, taking kids away from their parents after they've survived a horrifying 2,000-mile journey seeking asylum here in this country. The bitterness, the partisanship, the pettiness, the dishonesty that defines so much of the national conversation. We are in desperate need right now of inspiration. But I'll tell you what, traveling the state of Texas, meeting people regardless of their walk of life, their background, their party affiliation, you have inspired me. You've inspired me to transcend the obstacles, to be the big, courageous, bold, strong match for this moment on any issue that challenges us. In Texas, where nearly half of school teachers work a second job just to make ends meet, making sure that we're there for them, pay them a living wage, and ensure that they can teach to the child, not the test. In this state of immigrants, making sure that we lead the national conversation, free dreamers from any fear of deportation, and the least insured state in the country could take the lead on guaranteed, high-quality, universal health care. You have inspired me in this race, and I'm grateful to have the chance to represent you. Thank you.
Senator Cruz, 2 minutes.
The classic question in politics: are you better off now than you were 2 years ago? Is Texas?
Weird lighting.
Elections are about choices. Do we continue on the path we're on, or do we turn back? The records of Congressman O'Rourke and myself could not be more different. On taxes, I want to cut your taxes. Congressman O'Rourke wants to raise them. On job-killing regulations, I want to repeal them. Congressman O'Rourke wants to increase them.
Oh, yeah, he's just attacking the whole way.
I want to repeal Obamacare, reduce premiums, protect pre-existing conditions, and expand access. Congressman O'Rourke wants socialized medicine, the federal government in charge of your health care and your doctor, which, among other things,
who would have won if it was Ted Cruz versus Hillary Clinton?
I want to keep the economic boom we're experiencing right now going, moving forward. Congressman O'Rourke wants the next 2 years to be drawn
technically
into the
all the polls show
circus
Ted Cruz still ahead of O'Rourke, so with Hillary
Trump
in the seat, it would have been a blowout. This one's at least competitive.
Elections are about who we are. Do
who
we
are
choose
you, Ted?
fear, or do we choose hope?
You're fear. You're fear.
My mom was
the
first
fear-mongering bitch wants you to move. Choose hope suddenly.
My dad came from Cuba with
but he's so brazen about it that he'll tell you who he is and then position himself as the opposite.
Seeking the American dream. If someone had approached my dad in 1957 and said, 50 years hence, your son will be a U.S. Senator representing the state of Texas, that teenage immigrant could never have believed it. And yet, as I stood on the Senate floor with my hand on my dad's Bible, there was my father in the gallery, tears running down his eyes. Only in America.
Only in America.
This is a choice about keeping the boom going, we have the lowest Hispanic
the market-based healthcare dream
alive. The lowest
alive.
African-American unemployment ever recorded. Why would we want to screw that up? We need
We
to
ban
defend
Muslims, but we're not
jobs, defend
racist.
the
Here's some
Constitution.
stats over and over again about
We
unemployment.
appreciate it. Mr. Cruz, Mr. O'Rourke, thank you for sharing tonight. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Quick reminder, our social media response team in Dallas is still watching what's trending from tonight's debate. Tell us what you thought about the candidates. Please use the hashtag as well, Texas Debate. A reminder to our viewers as well, early voting begins on
The big word?
The election.
Oh, the bibble. That's right.
We appreciate you watching. Good night.
God damn it, Michael. Get out of here. Go on, get.
Yeah, go on, get.
That was a little loud, but get out of here for real. God, Ted Cruz is no more fun to watch this time than any of the other times. He is
man.
Ugh, fuck that guy. Like,
oh,
what a weird, like, how is he still human with like how much bloated money and like lies fill him? He's like a balloon of lies and corporate money, and there's not even like a human soul behind it. Like, there's nothing behind those eyes. It is just like gears and levers and like
I said, his operating
there's
system
a
reset
goblin
on
inside
camera.
there. Swear to God. I don't get it.
His operating system reset on camera. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. Wait, I have to say something nice, and it's like not preset to this talking point from the GOP.
And it's not the traditional question of say one nice thing about your opponent. It's something non-political. Oh, okay.
He failed that one already, so they didn't want to fail him twice in a row, or they. What would be the point of asking it twice? I guess.
Oh.
Fuck.
Oh man. All right. I will say that I think Beto performed better in this debate.
Yeah. I think you had some good criticisms that I didn't think of. He probably could have done a little better, but.
Well, I had a lot of criticisms prepared from watching the whole last debate, which unfortunately I did not get to stream. But I think this was the final debate between the two.
Pretty close.
Just today, or yesterday rather, another $2 million got dumped into Ted Cruz's fund, his campaign fund.
Oh, did someone related to Donald Trump mistakenly do that?
No, but I believe it was a corporation. I watched a news report from the Dallas News that showed that they framed the race between Beto and Cruz as money versus momentum. Guess who was money?
Ooh, yeah, not O'Rourke.
Yes, it was.
Sure. Money was what?
Yeah.
How is that?
They made the
and Ted Cruz was momentum.
You got it. Because Cruz has steadily held a lead in most polling through this entire race. So he was momentum and Beto was money. They claimed that the $32 million that Beto has raised dwarfs the $10 million that Ted Cruz raised for his campaign, not including any of the PAC money or any of the corporate contributions or big money contributions. They just included
a major portion.
They just included campaign tax finances and I believe small dollar donations when comparing the two. So they claimed that
dishonest reporting.
And a week ago, CNN came out and said, "Look at how much money Beto has raised." Well, I guess this just goes to show you that campaign money and money in politics doesn't buy you a seat in the Senate. This is 10 days ago or 7 days ago. The race is not over. We haven't all voted. They're already saying that that the race is called. That the fact that Beto O'Rourke has raised the most grassroots money out of
he set
several records. They go on and say that this this campaign that's not over goes to prove that money in politics and raising campaign finance money does not buy you seats in politics. Therefore, what? What, CNN? What's your fucking point? Oh, that you're a corporate establishment, that you're corporate neoliberal, and you seriously have done the bidding of the Republicans the entire time, and that no one else but the rest of the progressive wing, Dalton, me, Jimmy Dore, realized that Obama was one of the greatest boons for Republicans because he solidified the Bush tax cuts with, and which I heard just today.
All fucking permanent.
Listen, check this out, Dalton. I had someone propose this to me, and I haven't checked the math, but if this is true, that the Trump tax cuts are just the tip of the iceberg as far as the deficit spending currently right now, that if we had passed what we had done all under Trump, but had not solidified into permanence, which Obama did, the Bush tax cuts, we would actually be at a surplus, even with the $2 trillion tax cut, because the Bush tax cuts were worse.
Can I, for the first realistic, I'm saying this really?
Hit me with it.
Thanks, Obama.
Damn it. Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Seriously, like his lack of, like, all of his Republican policies that he enacted, his Republican light, his super motivation plus little to no delivery. Absolutely. Thanks, Obama, for our current situation. Thank you.
Thanks for putting America to sleep while you know, slipped us the drug that.
But Dalton,
still fucking us up for years to come.
What you're not understanding is, I have a very soothing voice.
Yeah. I mean, Morgan Freeman would make a, you know. Morgan Freeman will do great in the movie, I guess, about the election.
I would take one of his neck moles. Neck mole 2020.
Jeez.
I have to say, like, I'm not certain that Beto's gonna win.
It's sounding like similarly to when we called the race for Hillary too early.
That's what
most of the media did that.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm.
And they
really
started to just, you know, all the conversations a week leading up to that race were sounding like we're ready for Hillary Trump. And it was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? You released that way too early. I mean, you can start rough drafting that shit, but you need a rough draft Bernie versus Trump too, you assholes. Like, it was one of those, like, for the weeks leading up to that, and then he got cheated. So, good luck. And GOP's not known for purging voter rolls recently, are they? Or anything ominous? Oh, they're doing that. Oh, yeah. There's 50,000 people not allowed to vote or something. Shit.
Certainly not.
Mm-hmm.
And then too, it's the defense from the other side. I mean, it's just so well done at this point. Is, oh well, look at how bad they're doing. Any blue will do. How many times have the Democrats really ever fought for you? When have they really stepped back against gerrymandering?
Yeah. They love gerrymandering when it works for them. Fucking Democrats. Like, they're no better.
Whatsoever.
Yeah, it's easy to be against it right now when Republicans are profiting from it. But when you actually had the moment to fix it, you fuckers, you just put us all to sleep and then tortured Chelsea Manning for a while.
Man, I'm glad you brought that up.
I don't know. That's the one that really pisses me off. If I ever like meet Obama face to face, I'm asking.
He's one, like, there's a great quote of him at a press conference going, and we tortured some folks.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he jokes about it. He just like pulls the Bush joke.
He didn't. I will say that wasn't. He didn't say it in a joking manner. He said it in a kind of a, well, we did it, and I'm kind of ashamed of what we did, but we tortured some folks. You know.
Yeah, and
it is what it
that's
is.
because
We saved American lives, though.
it's because he feels responsible for it, at least somewhat. Unlike a lot of the Republican ilk that
I don't know. I think he
send
was
you off to
shamed.
fucking die and don't give a shit, and then take away benefits from your veterans and leave you out homeless.
Yeah, I mean, the point is that you and I definitely want him to feel accountable. You and I want him to feel responsible for this. But I think I don't have any reason. Oh well, okay. I will say I have reason, but I have reason also to suspect that he doesn't have any of that remorse or accountability instilled upon him. I think he was shamed into admitting some of that stuff. And I think I think you're agree with me there a little bit.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%.
Cool.
He only admitted it after the fact.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I mean, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't mean shit. I mean, it means he's a human fucking being.
Yeah, I will give you that too. And
unlike Ted Cruz, who I will not grant such a fucking nicety.
I'm not convinced that Ted Cruz doesn't actually have a forked tongue that he uses mainly for vision.
I just imagine like the Men in Black alien that like unfolds, and then there's like a tiny alien inside that just hates brown people or something. I don't know why.
Since you bring up Men in Black, I want to believe that he's a Balchinian.
A Balchinian. I don't remember what that is off the top of my head.
There was the scene where that one's in is in Men in Black 2 when he's trying to get Tommy Lee Jones, Jay, he's trying to remember, like they're trying to reactivate his memory, and they get attacked by aliens and whatnot, and he like Will Smith is just like going to town on this guy, and it's not affecting him, and he goes he's a Balchinian. He like looks back at the alien, pulls his scarf down, there's just this big set of testicles attached to his chin, and he just smacks the living crap out of him, and that's the end you hear of it. It's just like this really in passing joke, but
man, how did Rick and Morty miss that reference with all of their characters? I just now put that together. I don't think any of it's a reference to Men in Black and Rick and Morty, but
I don't
really
think there
close.
I can't place any references to Men in Black.
No, but I can think of a lot of balls on chins in Rick and Morty.
I mean, they even make that joke in Family Guy, frankly.
Maybe it's just like farts. Everyone likes farts. Farts are funny. Ball chin, funny.
Ball chin equals joke. There you go.
Yeah, it's just universally great. I might need to wrap this up fairly soon, buddy.
All right.
I just got home. I need to actually have a day off today.
Oh yeah, I hear you there.
Are you gonna play more Red Dead and shit? Or?
I might. I think I'm gonna take a break for some reason. I don't know if YouTube is upset that I played the stream on our stream.
It was definitely happening to people in chat, but it didn't look like it was happening.
Well, I don't seem to be able to access YouTube now. I'm gonna try on my. Yeah, my laptop doesn't seem to be loading anything on YouTube at the moment.
Welcome to 1984. The sky is falling.
Yeah, did I just get totally doxxed for trying to do something here?
Let's go. Yeah, right. You got doxxed from DDoSed from YouTube. I don't know.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I think there's a problem.
Great. Maybe well, it looks like you fixed the latency problem with the, I don't know. I was gonna suggest a restart, especially if you change games, but I don't know. You live your life, you probably know the best decision.
We'll see.
All right.
But thank you for joining us to watch the debate, and thank you, Dalton, for joining me as well. I'm gonna be going off. I may be coming back on to finish up a little bit more Undead Nightmare, but I might just call it a night. I will probably, if not tonight, play a little bit more tomorrow, but we shall see. But for Distraction and Discussion, I'm Alex, and that over there is Dalton.
So
we will see you next time.
Love you.
Make sure you get out and vote November 6th.
Make sure you're registered to vote right now.
Yeah, before it's too
do
late.
That. Before you go to sleep, double check.
You can register online most states.
Yeah.
Peace out, guys. Stay skeptical.